Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Ruhle, sitting in for Hallie Jackson. We are going to get into the weeds about weed, specifically black market marijuana. When the sale of recreational pot becomes legal in California in January, the state will become by far the largest legal marijuana economy in the nation. But it doesn't mean all marijuana there will be for legal purposes. Our Jacob Soboroff got a first-hand look at the efforts to nip the pot black market in the bud.
In the foothills of the Sierras below Sequoia National Park, a narcotics task force is preparing for a raid. But they're not going after heroin or cocaine or even meth. They're looking for pot.
How many of these grows are protected by weapons themselves?
A pretty good portion of them. They're always worried about getting ripped off by people looking to steal their crop, and so we've had a lot of shootings in this county.
In January, California will become home to the nation's largest legal pot industry. But the state's black market weed will still be a far bigger business.
What are they looking for inside the shed?
They're just clearing it for personnel, make sure there's no dangerous people in there, nobody armed.
So check this out. What this is a tripwire connected to beer bottles. So that if somebody comes into the grow and doesn't see this thing, whoever's out here is going to know about it. Looks like they got most of it before you guys got here, but this is the last plant left?
Yeah, but just about. And the helicopter flew it yesterday, so they probably made a priority to get it out of here.
It's estimated California produces 8 times more pot than is consumed here. Most of that is trafficked across America, and today could be up to 80% of the black market weed consumed in the U.S.
Hey, Lieutenant, looks like these are some big ones in here. See a bunch up there.
At a second grow site, we found absolutely massive illegal plants.
So what do you think? This is probably 8 feet tall, right?
About that.
And full irrigation system in here.
Yeah, you've got just standard drip line that you'll see in people's landscape in their backyard. So it looks like this is their camp area, which is where they're living. You can see they've got their clothing hanging on clotheslines. You can see the loofah, the scrubber and stuff.
So they literally left their showering gear here.
Yeah, they probably took off in a hurry.
When they heard the chopper yesterday, you think?
Or when they heard us come in today.
The growers also ditched their air rifles meant to defend against the other threat to their crops, hungry deer and rodents. Based on what was left behind, the Sheriff's Department suspects that this grow was part of a much larger criminal enterprise.
This is not a group of people growing marijuana for recreational use for themselves.
Or even with the medical card.
No, this is typical of organized crime.
So they're losing a lot of money today.
Yeah, they are. Somebody's not going to be happy about this. I mean, you probably get 6 pounds easy off that one.
You said 6 pounds off that one tree?
I would guess.
So what happens to all this weed now that it's chopped down?
We have to get it out of here. Just wrap it up, pile by pile, and manually drag it out.
50 or 60 pounds of weed on your back, and they got a lot more to pick up still. If you were a betting man, would you bet that this weed stays in California?
I would bet against that. I think they can make more money with it in other parts of the United States than can in California.
I'm joined now by USA Today reporter Trevor Hughes, who has been covering pot legalization efforts around the country. So, Trevor, you've reported on the marijuana black market as well as the legalization. Talk to us about the enormous challenge in cracking down. I mean, this is a really profitable industry.
It's a hugely profitable industry. I mean, the thing you have to bear in mind is that a pound of marijuana in California might sell for like $2,000. In New York City, it might sell for $6,000. Totally illegal. So if you're willing to take the risk of shipping that pot across the country, you can make a ton of money. You know, and one of these plants can be worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So there's a huge profit motive for people to avoid paying taxes. They're basically modern day moonshiners.
Okay, but then as more states loosen marijuana restrictions, isn't that going to wipe out the black market? You won't need it.
Well, that is certainly the argument, and you look at that with alcohol. I mean, we talk about moonshining, but frankly, it doesn't seem like it's that big of an industry in this country anymore. As the legal marketplace expands, it does seem like the black market is being reduced. But then again, you have these huge population centers like New York. I mean, if New York stays illegal, there's going to be a huge profit motive once again to keep that not having to pay the taxes on that pot in California. Because some of these taxes, we're talking like, you know, 20, 30, 40. There's talk of even 50% taxes on marijuana once the consumer has paid for it. That's a huge cut that the grower is no longer getting.
All right, how about a little economic history in the world of weed? California is expecting a big economic benefit from the sale of recreational marijuana. You live in Colorado, where marijuana was legalized a few years ago. Has the state reaped the financial benefits? I mean, a few years ago, we thought it was going to be this huge win.
Well, you know, this is the thing you have to remember is that any tax dollar that comes from marijuana is a new tax dollar that we wouldn't have gotten. So Colorado has collected hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes over the last few years, and that money is flowing into communities. It's helping build schools and make improvements in our communities. But a lot of it is also being diverted to, not diverted, but sent to drug treatment and programs that help people stop using drugs. So it's not a cash cow in the way that a lot of legislators may have thought it was going to be, but there is new money that is coming in every time someone in Colorado buys pot and pays taxes. That goes to the government.